Well, welcome everybody once again. This is the Five Mics podcast. It's your co-host Dino. We back, a little change of scenery. We got Tim up in this spot, Monte, Io, and James. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Fantastic.
Fantabulous. Episode 12. Quick little dozen on y'all. We doing our thing, you know what I'm saying? Every week we in there. It's moving. We out here, cuz.
Out here.
What does that even mean? Anyway.
What does that? Should we break it down for the
You out there?
Well, it used to be like
For the streets.
Hawaiites?
I used to be like if you ask about me, you gonna know. That's basically what it means.
I thought it's like I'm in these streets, like I'm doing
That's what I'm
something.
saying.
that's the same
so he don't know. He's from Africa, remember?
Or can mean you're doing really well
Are there streets in
at
Africa?
something. You're successful. I'm out here.
Are there streets in Africa? He said that, not me.
There's streets in Georgia.
Roads, horses.
That's pretty.
cricket
That's
cake.
actually
The country?
That's pretty valid. That's valid.
The country.
Yeah, there's some.
Oh, hello. Oh shit. Put that on the bloopers. All right, let's get into some shit. What we got? NFL started today.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the first day in a very long time that are 5 sports that are going right now: basketball, baseball,
Yeah.
football, hockey, and soccer. So welcome. Are we out of COVID?
COVID is done. We're done with it.
Streets is dead. Streets
It's,
is done.
it's dead. It's, no one who's quarantining 100%, who's locking themselves down in their crib. Nope.
Me.
It started off, everyone had their stay-at-home tags on their Instagram story. Now people are on vacation. They're going out with their friends, patio drinks, indoor drinks, clubs packed, mask, no mask. It's over. It's going to be cold and flu season, first of all. So now you're not even going to know if you get COVID or if you have the cold. And eventually we're all just going to get sick.
Yeah.
And then we're all just going to go about our lives. Shout outs to the essential workers, but we're done.
Yeah.
We're basically done.
I think when it started, it was like there was these big stories of Idris Elba had it, and it was, he got it, and then it kind of blew up. And then now that you can tell people aren't scared of COVID anymore, now it's, The Rock got it. So everybody's like, what, The Rock got it?
He's too buff.
And then,
He's too buff. He's good.
and then there was a ESPN ran a quick article that said that this college freshman football player died from it, but then 2 minutes later it came back and it said there's no evidence that he died from complications of COVID. So it was like, all right, so they're really trying to push. I don't know why they're still trying to push it, but yeah, I think like you said, Ayo, I think it's done, man.
Streets is done.
You out here.
You drinking wine today? Who is this man?
Yeah, man.
Is that Crimes, right?
I'm on that 19.
Yeah.
19 crimes. The Cabernet though.
Yeah. I got a cab in the cover right now. About to crack.
Yeah, you gotta
Probably
be on
Sunday.
that growing up. You drinking cabs. You know everybody else be drinking Merlot and Pinot Noirs.
No, Noir is
bro.
fire.
It's straight, but like a cab, yo.
Pinot Grigio is the one you don't want. That's
That's
the
white.
Pinot
That's white
Grigio.
wine though.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Dude, you sound like you drinking wine.
Yeah, we got to wait for what's the vocabulary word is going to slip out today.
All right. So shout out to NFL. Well, not shout out to NFL, but whatever. I don't watch the NFL.
So we
But
can give him a shout out.
Colin
But to be honest,
Kaepernick.
though, I don't know.
is
Like,
in-
I think the NFL breeds a different excitement for sports.
Yeah.
Like when the NBA came back and everybody was talking oh my God, they're on the bubble, they're doing their thing, but it was ugh. But when the NFL comes back, it's just you just got something different to get excited for, and I've always been that way. Even though I like basketball way more, it's just football. I feel just gets a different kind of energy, and I don't know if it's just the fantasy football aspect of things, or if it's the betting, or if people just feel like they care more.
The thing with
think it's-
football,
yeah.
though, what was that? No, I was just gonna say is you got games Thursday,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Sunday,
say.
Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying baseball.
Saturday, too, London.
Saturday.
Well, yeah,
Oh, no,
I mean,
they're not doing that this year,
But
probably.
college ball,
Baseball
let's
is
say
every day. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
that's out
sounds
the
like
window.
2 times in one day.
that's 182 games in baseball.
Yeah, and you
Football,
go to a game for $10 and get a hot dog. You know.
there's so much that goes with football. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things now where even this game tonight, you got people watching a football game not knowing anything about these teams, but it's football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because they have that one day.
Of course, you love that segment. It's football looking ass.
America's team ass head.
That boy loves some football.
Oh, you want your
not?
Cabernet, huh?
Booby mama. We get it, booby.
All right. So they put Colin Kaepernick in Madden.
Yeah.
They rated him 81, which is 12th or 13th best quarterback. This is after last year. Big Sean had a song on that soundtrack, and he had a Kaepernick reference, and they bleeped that out.
Yeah.
So 1 year later, they put him back in the game. Of course, he's a free agent, and he's actually rated higher than Cam Newton, who was in the Super Bowl, right? Like a couple years ago.
Yeah. Got an MVP. He was an MVP.
Fam, they got Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz at 84, and they got Cap at 81. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. I think
Is it a sympathy rating?
exactly. It has to be.
Yeah.
Like we got to give you
81.
81.
It's like a B. That's ass.
Just
to me.
cause. But then again, I don't even know, man. Madden ratings have always been garbage. Like I could take a player who's like 67 and win a Super Bowl with him.
But people swear by that, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people that care more about their Madden ratings than they care about anything else. I heard Lamar Jackson had an interview, and he won MVP. And he said he won MVP, didn't cry. When he was on the cover of Madden, he cried. You know what I'm saying? So, like, something about Madden, especially when we was kids, we all created our player. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just those ratings. People die for them ratings.
Yeah. Trump tweeted, said,
Oh, shit.
he tweeted, he said, he said, why'd y'all bother putting him in the game? But I guess he's a free agent. But I guess I'm a free agent too, so put me in the game. And so Cap,
he said that?
Yeah. So Cap tweeted back, said he's not qualified. And so Cap tweeted back saying, well, I'm not qualified to be a president, and you're in there, so sign me up. So he
I'm with the smoke,
back.
fam.
Yeah,
My
that's
music still on?
that dude. He does everything. Dog. Like, I mean, I don't think he should have been an 81. I definitely think it was a 70 rating. I feel like if he was too low, EA would be
get
like,
flagged.
oh, why you do that? You put him back in. He's that low. But
if you think about it that way, it's a catch-22 now because like obviously you're gonna catch flag for being rated too high, just as well as you are rated too low.
yeah, nah, he shouldn't have been an 81 though. Not
What starter is he better than right now?
Nobody.
Because you don't know.
Is Fitzmagic starting for the?
No.
But at least he played. He ain't played, so I wouldn't say anybody.
Yeah, who would you take
Either way,
over?
if he hasn't played in 4 years, you know
What is
capable.
what is like Drew Lock? What is he rated?
He's probably rated higher than Drew Lock if he's
Drew Lock.
that close to Dak and Carson.
Yeah, I don't even think he's better than Drew Lock probably at this point.
I don't think so either.
Drew Lock's kind of nice actually. Just watch out, just for you sports head, watch out for Drew Lock this year.
Did you draft him on your fantasy?
But the only thing that sucks though, us being from Minnesota, I think Cap's best highlights is against us, bro.
It's against the Packers.
Is it?
He used to run through us in the
He took off
playoffs.
on the Vikings one game, bro.
Bro,
Like
he set a
60-yard
playoff
run.
record for rushing yards from a quarterback against the Packers in the divisional playoffs. It was
Oh man,
terrible.
he loved the NFC North then, huh?
I have nightmares. The 49ers, period, they just whoop our ass anytime they're good, anytime we play them. So I just can't fuck with them. Them and the Seahawks, I don't like. Yeah.
Sports is fixed, man. That's what I'm on right now.
We just talked about that. But
He be listening to the pod. Just so you guys know, it's 7-6 KC just scored.
Who scored?
easy.
Like the person?
Yeah.
He don't know.
So you want me to click into this shit?
Yeah.
We got fantasy
I gotta
football,
check
bro.
well, I guess I could look at my own thing. We're supposed to be podcasting.
Travis Kelce.
See,
Kelce.
look.
Travis
See, look how
Kelce.
look how important football's
trying to get
already.
Shorty back.
It's already encroaching on the.
Shout out to Caleb.
We're already encroaching on
what up?
podcast time. But yeah, COVID's done. Colin Kaepernick is in the game.
Oh, another COVID joint. So Kevin Hart did a couple tour shows, and it was like social distance. So it was outside. People had like their own little pods. So it was like, I don't know, 2 to 4 people it looked like. And they were spaced out. And I know at least he did 2 shows. So that's pretty dope. So, but our concert's coming back.
Have you seen the one? I think it was like in Europe,
never answer
bro. Like a
questions.
month ago. It was like a month ago. Whereas they had the same kind of similar thing.
Yeah,
where
they were
had
sitting
like,
on top of the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they all had their own little stage. It looked like a stage kind of thing, but it's like 2 people a stage, and it was like spaced out. Mm-hmm. Is that what it looked like? Cause
No, these people were on the grass. Like they were just sitting on like towels or something. Or
and I
like,
had
Kinda like
and I had to
Chappelle's
pay to
thing?
come in and sit on the grass.
it was
I
kind of
can't-
like Chappelle's thing. Huh?
I'm not paying anybody to sit on the grass. I don't care who I'm watching. If
I'd
I pay
watch-
you, dog,
I'd
I need
watch
a
Chappelle.
seat. But back to the question, what was it?
I don't know. You
Our
got
concert's
our concert's
coming
back.
You're
Our
drinking,
concert's
you're drinking
coming
a cab
back.
too fast.
No. It'll take too much for him to come back. You got to think about a concert.
I mean,
like,
it's tight,
You couldn't
though.
do that all the time.
You don't think so?
Bro, you know how like concerts are. Like the better the seat is, the closest to the stage. and people are gonna rush the stage no matter what.
Yeah.
This NFL game got 16,000.
I was
people
just
up, right?
gonna say that
Just
if
do the same-
this works, they're gonna put contracts.
Just do the same concept, bro. Just treat it like a metal detector.
Yeah.
You walk through the metal detector.
You never get through them things.
But like how many? Like you got to think about like the cost of that. If a concert did that, they're not making money back. That thing, we don't even know how much it costs. The NFL does. NFL has different money than the concert.
But I'm saying it's gonna have to end up being mandatory for any kind of event. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna have to just buck up and do
yeah,
it.
but mandatory also comes with dollar signs. Who's gonna pay?
Shoot, if I'm
So you're
Madison
gonna say,
Square
oh,
Garden,
we're
I'm
gonna
buying it.
let everybody come in to this concert if you go through this detector. But then you got to think about it. Now what goes up? The price of the ticket goes up. The money that the artist is going to make goes down.
They still
That's
gonna
not
go.
happening.
People still gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's tell people what that
but
is.
people
So
ain't
you
gonna-
guys said it's like a metal detector thing, and there's two.
It's like the airport. Like when you go to the airport and you got to put your
Right,
arms
yeah,
up like
and
this,
then, yeah.
and then da-da-da-da. So
And
it's
clean-
like that.
yeah. But you got to think, like, if you go to a Kendrick Lamar concert yesteryear, 2019 or before, you pay $200 for a ticket. Now
You paid.
No, I'm just saying. Now you pay. I've been to a concert where you had to pay for that J. Cole ticket. Don't let me put
That
that on
was
there.
cheaper
But you paid
than the
two-
first time.
You paid
Look,
twice.
the second pair of tickets was cheaper than one ticket by himself the first time. I was tight.
Yeah, see, so you paid a lot. You pay more because you got to think about
You're
it. You
right.
still have to pay for those tickets.
J. Cole, huh?
Yeah.
Continue.
What?
What was that?
You know. Sound set. You know.
Oh,
Continue though.
I
Continue.
thought you were talking
continue.
about the merchandise.
Yeah. No, not the merchandise. Not the subliminal merchandise.
J. Cole snuffed me, bro.
No,
Like
so,
he played me, bro.
But you got to think about like how much
When he
money
punched
like,
you?
He's
certain people
mad.
will lose. Like a
All right, go
venue is
ahead.
going to cost more. That device is going to cost obviously, and then is it even 100% proof? We don't know yet. The game is still going on. No one's reported back saying that they haven't got COVID from going to
I
the
think
game.
the NFL is gonna die in about a week, but
No, I just feel like that.
They will never let that happen.
I overheard this from somebody. I think the NFL is going to save COVID. Like, it's literally going to be, the NFL is going to be like, oh, man, we figured it out with this machinery or, obviously with their money,
keep everybody quiet who said they got it.
Shit, you could pay me $200K. I would say I ain't had shit.
But real talk though, at what point in time is enough
I ain't
enough
got
though? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm at the point now where, bro, I went to a restaurant, had a mask on, walked in, took my mask off. The moment I had my mask off, I'm upstairs and there's music, there's a DJ, and there's bodies. So tell me what they did. They just did this, check my temperature. I walked in there, I was fine. You know what I'm saying? And that was in Texas. And I've seen plenty of places now where people are doing things. I mean, at what point in time are people just gonna be like, you know what, man, enough's
I
enough?
thought we were already there. We don't really care.
Nah,
So I went to
not.
Vegas and it was kind of popping on a Wednesday. I was like, what is happening? I was nervous. I was like, all right, I'm getting my in and out. I go back to my room.
See, I've seen it when I was in North Carolina, too. I was like, bro, that place is packed, body to body, no face mask. And I was like, I didn't go in, but I was like, oh, man, dude. In normal times, obviously, it wouldn't take me nothing but 2 seconds to get out of the car and hop inside that bar. But now I'm like second guessing things. And even like you said, bro, some of these places is not taking the same precautions. If I hop on an airplane and the airport was like, oh yeah, 6 feet, stay social distance, practice social distance. But you sit me next to some guy I don't even know where he's coming from, where he's been, or where he's going.
Yeah. that shit's
So it's
crazy.
just like one of those things like, what are we doing here? But obviously you still got to take it serious.
paper over people, bro.
Yeah, because I don't want, obviously I don't want to get sick. And I've been fortunate enough to travel to some places and I haven't got sick yet, so yeah, I'm good.
I think all of us have traveled in, and we've been lucky enough to not get it. As there was a point where we were like, how are the traveling that we've done, the places that we've gone, how do we not have it at that point? So
I think I had it.
It's
I think I had it already. I had a night where I swear I lost taste, bro.
yeah.
And
We
that's
all,
what he
you
said,
and Io
You
definitely
guys
thought y'all had it.
told
yeah.
yourself you had it.
Yeah, for a
Yeah, we
whole
got
day.
tested.
I couldn't
didn't
breathe.
Nah, this was 2 weeks ago. I told y'all 2 weeks ago.
But have you ever
Oh,
talked
yeah.
yourself into being sick? Like, oh,
That's what they do.
All the time.
That's what they
Every
do.
winter.
Oh, I got it.
Hypochondria.
Bro,
that's what it is.
Monte said, can you hold your breath? He goes, And we sitting there. He goes, hold your breath for however long. I think I held my breath for maybe 20 seconds.
He's
Freaked
like, no,
out.
I'm normally
Freaked out.
25.
Same with Aya. Aya was like, he was like, no, that's not normal for me.
You know, my
Nope.
workout, I felt a little off.
Hey, we got tested, came back negative. Next day, we hold our breath for 60 seconds.
2 minutes. Like, yo,
Yeah.
come on, man. How does that happen?
Look, your behavior tells you whether or not you believe in something, right? If we thought COVID was this deadly thing that was going to be killing us, we probably wouldn't even be doing this podcast. We would be at home, locked in. If you think about the way like different people's behavior, like we know who it affects mostly. Unfortunately, older people. Unfortunately, people with obesity. Unfortunately, people with like diseases, right? But I saw another example. Like if we thought, for example, like kids and babies were getting it, everybody would lock in.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody would leave the house. If we thought kids and babies and stuff would die from COVID, nobody would leave the house. Everyone would be doing that. But if you look at our behavior, everyone has their rules that they break for COVID, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have your gathering of friends who's like 6 to 8 to 10 people, maybe more, but they're your homies, so they don't got COVID. Oh, you're dating somebody who goes to a job where they expose to other people. Oh, the person I'm dating, not even someone you're living with. Oh, I'm dating them. They don't have COVID, right? Yeah. We make all these little concessions. We think that people we don't know aren't going to give us COVID, right? So people aren't. Come on.
Even with y'all, like we don't see each other until this night when we record, and then during the whole week, I don't know who any of y'all around. Well, every time we get together, we do this. Ain't no social distancing, but it is what it is. But it's like women though.
I've been locking down.
Bro, but
No, I don't know. I treat it like an honor system, bro.
honor system.
It's like you got to think about it. Would you really put somebody that you're going to be doing something with in a predicament where to jeopardize their health?
But you don't know what I'm doing though.
But the thing is, would you come up in here? Would you come up in here after like a week off?
Bro, I do every week.
But are you going out doing reckless stuff?
I'm playing football. I'm out there. I was in Texas. The list goes on.
Bro, that was 3 weeks ago.
Son, that's an
This nigga went on
example.
one trip in the whole year.
But that's an example. You talking about an honor system. You don't, bro. I was in the club in Texas, right?
Oh.
I came back here and we recorded.
You didn't tell us that.
Niggas.
Didn't tell us that.
I got a cough now. This man went to a club in Texas.
So you
How was
It's
that?
getting hot in
They
here.
check your temperature?
Nigga,
Is that
you
what
were
you're
in
talking about?
Decatur.
No, that was him. Brewing beers.
Yeah, it was.
No, yeah. So
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I was in, what was East Atlanta? What do you call it?
East Atlanta Playboy?
No, East Atlanta. Oh, now he don't know where
Zone
East
6?
Atlanta is now. I was
don't.
in Zone 6.
The Zone 6.
Why you point to me?
Zante had...
Zante, well, he was definitely in Atlanta. Zante. Whoa, how much is in that bottle, bro? Hey, check the bottle.
Yeah.
Zante. Is that the name of the pod? Zante.
Zante,
That
what
might be the name for the day.
Nigga went to France.
shit.
He went to France.
Yo.
He went to France.
Nigga.
All right.
What?
This
Look,
is 19 crimes, y'all.
COVID.
Sponsorship.
COVID is
Come on,
canceled. COVID is canceled, and also all females are illogical.
Damn.
kind of right segue is that?
Let's just get it out of the way, fellas.
Who's let's? No, you can get it out of the way.
No, I'm just kidding, ladies. Just kidding, ladies.
I'm not.
Look at him backtracking.
No.
Step
But
back.
we were having a
got this.
we were having a
And then you
conversation.
put us all in it right now.
I was leading the conversation
I was right there with you.
about how
Hey, mute my
when
mic.
you are trying to. So first it started off with this meme we saw, right? This meme I saw that I reposted, and it says something like, "If your girl ever gets mad at you, tell her to just chill." which we all know is like the worst possible thing that you could ever say to your girlfriend, right? Your wife, whatever. Because when you get into an argument with a woman,
She never gonna chill.
she's never gonna chill, and you could create a mathematical equation breaking down every logical step of the argument. It can make sense, and then she'll switch the shit around and she'll hit you with the, well, I just feel like, oh, you know what? I just feel like da 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 da. Next thing you know, there's a rambling rant, and then you don't know what to do. It's like you're shadow boxing a ghost. Like you have no idea what to do with the I just feel like conversation. So, ladies, what we're trying to tell you is that when we break something down to you logically and it bypasses that area of your brain and then the conversation gets switched somewhere, you got to admit a little bit, ladies, some of you guys know deep down, not making generalizations about all, but sometimes the logic train kind of goes a little bit off the tracks, and next thing you know, we're getting into some wrestling match in an argument. And I've never been in an argument with a female one time where I felt like I came out of there explaining everything logically, and she was like, you know what? Yes, Io, you are correct. Everything you said in that logical order made sense. So I'm throwing it out there. It's difficult to have an argument in the relationship due to the more elevated emotional nature of
Dude, I'm get out of here with this verbiage. Men move more off of logic, and women move more off of emotion. That's an actual fact.
Correct.
Factoid.
But you can't even say that anymore because you get canceled. You can't say that men and women are different anymore. You can't say that. That sounds.
They can cancel me then.
That sounds bad, right? Men use logic more and women use emotion.
I didn't
more.
say that. See, I said they're more logic. They use. Exactly. It's not that women don't use logic. Of course, you use logic because you need to use logic in order to be successful in your professions and everything like that. But when it comes to when you're having in relationships, that's why there's that turmoil when you're trying to hash things out. We're having a conversation on one parallel, and you're having a conversation over here in another universe. And I've been in so many arguments not even arguments, just talking, debates, conversations where I'm like, what just happened? I don't even know. Like I just get twisted up. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Io. Just so you guys know, his ad is Io the author.
But Tim's there too.
But Tim, his ad is Tim Nella.
Yeah, this is the relationship
never
corner,
satisfied.
And
35.
When you're brave, you say the things you actually mean on wax. So that's me putting it on wax because these are conversations we need to have.
So here's the thing. So coming from a person that has already been canceled, allegedly, it was a fake cancel because F Jada Pinkett Smith. F that whack stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll say it again. But nah, I'm with you 1,000%.
Yeah, don't leave me hanging.
No. Hey, you already know I'm not worried about it because I'm in a relationship. So the thing with me is, everything we talked about earlier, that's exactly the kind of stuff that, now fortunate enough, I don't argue with my significant other. Like, we don't do that just because you can't really argue with a person like me.
Whoa.
But, no.
Why explain it? Why?
Conversation is argument.
What's a person like you? What?
Nah, I'm not here for it.
You got to talk into the mic. That's better that way.
I'm not here for arguments. I'm one of those people where Io said it, hit it on the head. If you want to get mad at me for doing something, I will hit you with something logical at the fact that it's not even worth an argument because women want people who are passionate, who are out there trying to get it, trying to work, right? That's what it is. And then when they with you and you doing that, then they want to revert back and they say that you're doing too much of that stuff. And then I look at it and I go, but you look at these other dudes out here, you call these dudes deadbeats, and you don't want to be around them dudes. You want to be around people like me. This is what you're going to get with a person like me. So truly, it's just, you put yourself in this position. I didn't. Because I knew, because I know my lifestyle. I know the kind of person I am. So it's one of those things where if I can devote my time to somebody, and I do, but that's where I'm saying I'm not a person that argues because it's just, hey, you knew I was a $6 million man. I want to be active. I want to do stuff. Not active like that, you know what I'm saying? But constantly doing stuff, constantly working. But if you don't want to be with me, go be with somebody else and you'll be upset at the fact that they're a loser.
All right, well, I'm not making a video clip out of that section.
Yeah, but it's still on the pot. I'm not cutting it either. That was a little...
No clip.
No, I understand what you're saying because I was going to say the same thing before you said it. Because you kind of went into, they want this guy that's focused and driven and all this, but then once they see that, they're like, damn, this dude is really focused and driven. Like, I don't got time. Yeah. But that's what you want. Like, this is where I want to elevate as much as possible, and I'm gonna bring you with me though. But sometimes it just has to be me by myself, and it's great when you have that partner or that other person that can kind of push you. And you guys don't even have to really be interested in the same thing, but you guys have interest in the same goal, which is trying to elevate each other. You know what I'm saying? As an individual and then as a tandem. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think that's the reason why celebrities are together?
Yeah, it's always I go after people that match my lifestyle.
Because remember Russell Wilson got drafted and he had that white shorty in the photo doing all this, and
Patrick Mahomes is out of there.
Gone. And then all of a sudden now Russell Wilson with Ciara. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of them things where when I think about that kind of stuff, I go, you have to have something that's gonna match your energy. Because but I love what I got.
Ooh, I got one after this.
Well, let me hear what you got. Go ahead.
No, so right off of that, we can talk about it. We said this before. So that matching, like, are their soulmates.
Twin flame. I believe in that.
How do you? I don't know. So if somebody is perfect for your soul, wouldn't they be doing the same thing as you on the other side, or is it someone that perfectly matches what you're missing? Is that what a soulmate
I
is?
think it's all opinionated, but if I think soulmate, I think the person, it can be, because I think there's different types of soulmates. Like you have friends that are soulmates. Obviously, your parents are your soulmates, should be. But if we're talking about relationally with a opposite sex, I think it's somebody who fits you. You know what I'm saying? You fit each other. So like we were just saying, like that person, like if you're driven and all of that, sometimes it takes another driven person, or it could just take somebody that just has your back. They might not even be as driven as you, but they understand that that's your way of working. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. And
I believe more in opposites attract.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like an opposite type of thing.
Because I feel when you have somebody that, because when it's opposite, it means more they see your vision, but they're just not willingly wanting to do what you do, but they understand. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is when you got somebody that's so similar to you, you're gonna butt heads. But when you got somebody that understands you, just is able to fall back and not having to want to be in the spotlight, they can champion you. I think so.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you have soulmates. You don't have a soulmate. I think you have potentially like thousands.
Yeah.
You have like thousands of soulmates, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
I think there's like a small percentage of the population, maybe 1% of the opposite sex, like the whole population would be somebody that really, really fit. But in a world with however many billion people we have, there's a small percentage of people who would make a good fit. But that's an interesting question.
I got
though,
something on
because
that too.
sometimes like the way you meet somebody, if you just like tweak a couple of variables, like you may never have met that person.
Damn.
Yeah.
You may never have met that person before. Like you grew up in this city, you ran into him, you saw him across the room at that place. You might not have been there that day. You never maybe would have got back to him. So there's a lot of chance involved, but I think part of that means you got to like filter in who you want to be with. To where I feel like one thing that does happen to a lot of people. This is actually a funny story. Well, kind of sad a little bit. I won't name the names. But
variables?
No, so I was in the car driving with this couple. We were going out in the bar drinking that night.
Swingers?
No. They were just like a married couple, and I was going out to the bar. Like
Swingers?
they were no.
You were driving?
Oh.
He said swingers.
No. So there's this. No, actually, they were engaged. So these two people, they're engaged. I'm just having a conversation with two engaged people in the car.
There you go.
I ain't gonna ask again.
They're drunk, right? So
Swingers.
no.
Okay, all right.
So I'm asking them the story
Mute
about.
this nigga.
I'm asking them the story about how they got together, right? And basically, they went out on like 2 dates, and then the girl was like, I'm kind of done with this whole dating scene. Like, I'm really serious. Like, are you serious too? And he was like, yeah. So they basically kind of both admitted that they got together because they were like tired of dating. They were like tired of going through the whole dance. Like, you go on a couple dates. You have relationships, maybe last a couple weeks, a couple months, it flames out. So I feel like a lot of people get into that where they don't find their soulmate. It's just like whoever's closest to them, and they reach the age where they just want to be
settle
done, and they just want to
for it.
settle. And I feel like that's the vast, not that you need the perfect person, but I feel like the vast majority of
for
relationships
sure.
and marriages is just settling. The person you meet when you're 28 years old, you're ready to settle down.
in Minnesota,
That's who you end
22.
up. Right. So that's exactly what happens to people. So that's my 2 cents on the soulmate joint.
I got like a nickel.
Yeah. So with settling, I don't know. I don't see myself being like a settler. I feel like I'm like almost like leveling up rather than settling because like Dino said, it's just like somebody's there to have your back.
Ayo, you said that there's a potential for more than one soulmate, which I agree. So I think that's what a lot of people get into. I think that's another situation. So it's kind of reverse of settling. So you meet somebody and you're just not in the right spot, right space, or whatever it might be, and you're like, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? So I have a question. Me and Del was talking about this a minute ago. Do you risk, because it might be, let's say it's 10 people that are your soulmates in this world, right? Do you miss, or risk, I should say, passing up on that one in hopes that you would find that second one? You know what I'm saying? Because there's no certainty there. And you know what I'm saying? You might not be in that right space mentally or, financially, whatever it might be. You know what I'm saying? But is that a risk that I'll ask you guys. We'll just put ourselves in hypotheticals. Let's say we're in that situation where we meet somebody and it didn't work out or whatever, and then there's a potential that you can fight for it. You know what I'm saying? Or do you risk that, or just say fuck it? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna go ahead and fight for it, or I'm gonna just go and say I'll meet somebody different. You know what I'm saying?
So you got to think about the situation, because like if you go in thinking that you have more than a second,
Damn, that's a bar.
soulmate, you're gonna not put as much effort that you should into that one relationship that you're in. So you might mess up the opportunity to be with your original soulmate chasing the second one.
Yep. Damn.
So
Good cleanup.
I feel like that you'd only have that one soulmate. If things didn't work out, like you guys came to a mutual agreement where it's like, no,
You can
it's
live with
not
that.
you, it's me situation, or we should be better off as friends situations, then, break off. But if you like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, thinking that you would find somebody else, you're really not gonna find that love in that person that you're with at the one
But see,
time.
I was talking about settling, and so don't you ever get nervous about the fact that being in a place like Minnesota, knowing that you could travel to Texas, you could travel to New York, and you could run into somebody that's a spitting image of you, and you just never had the opportunity because you put all your eggs in that basket in Minnesota. So I think that's the reason why I stayed single for so long, because I just got so nervous knowing I've just been in this one spot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just imagine if I actually got out of this spot.
But did you ever consider taking your significant other to that place too, and seeing if they might be different in that same situation as well? Like, what if you took your shorty to Texas or New York at the same time you're
There's
dating?
always going to be a better something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the potential
There's
is
a better
always
something
better.
or a richer person. It's
Yeah,
always gonna be
exactly.
somebody who's got
What's
something
that
else
love
on
yours?
you.
By speaking of J. Cole, I love yours. It's always going to be It's always going to be some chick that's badder. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the scary thing about the whole thing, though, because if you're one of those people that constantly keeps trying to find that person that's better than the next person, then you're also becoming that person that is 60 and single and never had kids.
TV show. Yeah.
Is that a show?
No, I'm saying.
Oh,
could be. That's good.
And living
Alliterations.
Yeah, that makes you think about like money, right? So like if you don't have enough money and you're like struggling in a job and you feel trapped and like you hate it, that's terrible, right? So you need to get to a certain level to like get out of that. You want to have your own freedom. But then if you keep chasing money and you're like a billionaire and you're working all the time and you have all these houses and stuff, but like you're still not fulfilled because no amount of money is enough. I feel like it's the same way. So it's kind of like, I almost think a soulmate could be someone that, it's actually interesting. Have you ever had it where, at least it's happened to me, where somebody who they just kind of like liked you, they just liked you up front and like they didn't play a ton of games with you. They were just like straightforward with it.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of like turned you off a little bit to where you wanted a little bit more of a challenge, but they were actually just like secure in themselves and they just liked you. Sometimes I think that could be your soulmate, to where we're always chasing after like the baddest
gotta
one
fight,
who
man.
everyone wants, who's like everyone's hunting after, but there could be someone who maybe isn't as not desirable is not even the right word, because what does desire even mean, right? But they're not high maintenance, and they actually they're not trying to front. And we have so much like in the whole dating game, like there's so much front end, there's so much little games people play, shit people do, where everyone's afraid of
Getting hurt.
Everyone's afraid of catching feelings.
Rejection.
Everyone's afraid of rejection. So everyone's always dancing around it, to where the MO is not exactly to like let somebody know how you feel about them up front. It's
Yeah.
actually something you probably shouldn't do right away, because that comes off weird, right?
You playing too forward.
Yeah.
And I think that can push people away too, of course.
Yeah.
At the same time, sometimes you're like, well, fuck it. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? Like, I think you can do that at a certain point in your life when you get mature enough, you've been through enough, and you're like, all right, you know what? I don't got time. And that's kind of like what you said with the settling. Like, you just be upfront, like, hey, man, like, I've been through enough. You know what I'm saying? I know what I don't want. I know what I want. And I think you might be it. Mm-hmm. So let's see what we can do, and then go from there.
So can you meet somebody and build them into your soulmate? Can someone develop into your
Yeah, I
soulmate?
think everybody can grow.
Okay, so if you met somebody and right off the back it kind of wasn't like
That potential.
yeah,
man.
that it's like that. It wasn't that perfect match, but then over time it grew,
Yeah.
and then it's like okay,
Well, you rub
hey,
off on
you
one
are-
another.
You are my soulmate.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
think, I think a great relationship. Anyway, just like even with friendship, I think it's a tug of war regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's a give and a take, and you know what I'm saying. Like, so I think you got to compromise, and I think that's a constant battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you're ever just okay. We're here. Nah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow or even the next month after that argument where you're logical and she's emotional, now I might be here full circle.
See, I don't know about y'all, but when I see some couples who are been together for a minute, they start looking like each other.
I hate that.
I see it all the time, though.
So
but then
weird.
I think
Hey,
that's
what's up,
one of those-
Joe?
Sarah.
I don't know about all that, but Sarah might be a joke if it's like that.
Might be.
But no, I'm saying because but like we talked about that earlier though. So Monte and I were having this conversation where Father Time's undefeated, right? So we could be in our 30s right now. We could feel like we on top of the world, but then Father Time is always clicking. It's always clicking.
Yeah, 40.
You know what I'm saying? And then 40 gonna hit you, and then 50 gonna hit you, and 60 and
Right
70.
here.
And then you get to a point where if you get so lost in the stuff that's happening around you because you're just so fixated on the stuff that you're doing, things are happening around you and you missing it. So Monte was telling me, he's like, Tim, if you don't have a kid before you're 35, let's just say, you're gonna be the person that's gonna be at these high school football games if your kid plays football, guy, boy, girl, whatever it is, and you're gonna be the person that is so old that you ain't gonna be able to enjoy it. And I go, well, Monte, I'm gonna take care of myself. But then he goes, well, Father Time is still gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where in relationships,
Can you tell me that?
son, even now,
Yeah, I get that too. I be thinking that too. Like you got to think about like even like a playground, bro. You go running around like you came to me like 2 weeks ago. It's like, bro, I'm gonna have to do something different than running because my knees is hurting. Imagine your son or your daughter, you know, at the playground and they gonna play for 3 hours and you gotta run around, put them on a slide, take them off the slide, push them on a swing, you know, chase them around the park, and all of a sudden like, bro, hold up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna have to hire a babysitter to go out to the park every time. Now, you know, you're gonna miss that connection with your kid. I'm in the same boat as, you know, just about everybody, the three others in this room, because I don't know about y'all two. But I ain't got no kids, you know.
I got kids.
I know you got kids. That's why I said I'm in the same boat as these guys. You know, so we are behind the curve if you think about all the other friends.
Yeah.
You know, who's had a
I
kid
saw
at
that
either
too.
20 or 25 or 30, you know, whatever the case may be. You know, but at the same time, it's just like, there is a window to have a kid, but I just don't want to have a kid just to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
You know,
Nonsense.
like I don't want to just have a kid. You know, like like I don't want to be like I don't want to be like a baby's father. I want to be a father. You know what I'm saying? So it's just why that's why I've been holding out.
son, I really hope there's somebody that's 20, whether it's a female or male that's listening right now, because I listened to this dude on his YouTube page. It wasn't you, Io, but somebody else, where they pretty much said, they said a lot of people get so fixated on this path of while out in your 20s, figure it out in your 30s. You know what I'm saying? So like if somebody that's listening right now that's 20, get to the bag in your 20s. Get that stuff locked in your 20s, and then like work in your 20s. Don't go out there and party. Don't go out there
I mean,
because
you can still party.
I know, but
work, yeah.
realistically, it's one of them things where I think we all follow that blueprint where we just thought in your 20s, let's party. Now in your 30s, try to figure things out. No, realistically, I think a lot of us did that, bro.
I partied in my 30s. Nah, late 20s.
You got to almost think about
But
like
I
how the
get you,
times
yeah.
return. You got to see like the cats that were like 25 and 30
Exactly.
when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? When they had that 10 or 12 years on us, and we was looking at them like, yeah, man, we turned 25. This is what we got to do. When we turn 30, this is what we got to do. Now we're that age, and the kids looking at us like,
Because
that's what we got to do. You know?
But that's
So
the
it's
scary
just-
thing
it's just-
because we didn't even. Now that I know that the teachers that I had were the same age that I am now, if not younger, at that time I didn't know that. So I was listening to something else where Will Smith had the #1 song in the country and he still was in high school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when I was
He was
watching
still
Fresh
going to high
Prince,
school.
bro, I thought Will Smith was probably like 30 years old when I was watching Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Maybe not 30, you know what I'm saying? But
Shout out
I
to Fresh
thought,
Prince. Today's the 30-year anniversary of the first episode.
oh, that's
They're
crazy.
doing a reunion show on HBO.
Okay.
Oh, for real? When that dropped?
They haven't said it yet.
That's crazy. No,
Sorry.
but
Fact, man.
hold on. Sorry, I got a random thought. So
Another one?
random. We all heard about the OBJ thing, right? Odell Beckham. We all heard about that. Here's my take on it, though. if somebody shits on you, what happens after that?
All right.
So two things gonna have to happen.
Shit.
In my opinion, because I don't know. I wouldn't let it happen. First off, you're gonna have to change your sheets and you have to flip your mattress because like that's some dirty shit.
Literally, yeah.
Like, yeah, that's some dirty shit.
Oh, what is up with these white girls that keep coming out trying to blast all the black people?
What they said now?
That's
Damn,
shorty.
Nat, the Trey Songz joint a week ago.
Oh, he said black girls.
I said white girls, black dudes.
It's cloud chasing.
And then what was the other one? Trey Songz.
It's every day, bro. It's
Yeah,
one
it's,
of
like,
the,
it's really weekly, bro, for clicks.
It's cloud chasing, and obviously it's been known for a long time. Black people run the culture when it comes to whatever's the coolest. Whatever's the coolest. What's the number one genre of music? Rap. All the coolest athletes are the one. Odell with the hair, with the cross earring, with the swag, with the drip. NBA players with the drip, right? And they just want to chase that clout. So it's like it's interesting if you look at it like, all right, who am I going to clout chase? Odell with the crazy hair and the earrings, or Peyton Manning, exactly. Oh yeah,
with the box head.
Wouldn't even be a story. Oh, I shit on Eli Manning's chest. Like, who cares? Who cares?
They probably did though. That's the crazy shit.
They're probably the one. Hey, and the thing is, white people get credit for all the weird, freaky shit. We don't do that shit. We don't do serial killings. We don't do
Sex with dogs.
We made the dogs fight,
Joe Budden got canceled over that a couple of days ago too,
bro.
They talk about he was jerking off his dogs.
That's the question.
Again, this is what everybody. This is how the world works. So look at Nick Cannon. He said that shit, and Viacom or whatever it was canceled his ass, right?
Yeah.
So now Joe Budden has this whole thing where they're not renewing their contract with Spotify. Shout out to Joe Budden because they're the first ones to ever get a whatever executive deal or publishing, whatever it's called, with Spotify 3 years ago, and now you see. Joe Rogan had a super bag, 250 mil, whatever it was. They got a Michelle Obama podcast over there. But anyway, so he said they're leaving Spotify a week and a half ago. They're shitting on him, right? No pun. So now all of a sudden, 3 days later, now this whole entire smear campaign comes out where he said a long time ago, jokingly, he was talking about he rubs his dogs on their private parts. I listened to the podcast. What did that happen? I listened to a podcast where his dog died, and this nigga sounded like his kid died. You know what I'm saying? Like,
was it a boy or a girl?
It was a boy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It was just like, it's a joke, fam. But now this is how the world works. You know what I'm saying? I listened to the podcast yesterday that dropped, and shortest podcast I've heard from them. This dude said like 17 words. Because it was just like, damn, bro. Like,
I just feel like people
it's
are
tough
usually
when you lose a significant other, you know.
Yeah, but people are usually looking for like context.
The laughing gas tonight.
you been drinking that cab too?
No, I'm just kidding.
75 hard, huh?
Send them back.
No, I'm being an ass tonight. Let me chill.
What you saying, huh?
People like love context, like you got to think about like a statement like that probably was just taken out of context.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just like you get the wrong context and you try to fill in everything else. Oh, Joe Budden was playing with somebody's underpart. You're like, come on, like no one plays with a dog's underparts unless you really want to. I feel like.
But fam,
you know what I'm saying?
Fam, real talk though, we in a society that it's all about clickbait, bro.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Skip Bayless today. So today's National Suicide Prevention Day, right?
Yep.
And so I'm listening to Skip Bayless live on TV talking about the fact that I don't really care if Dak Prescott lost his brother. From what I heard, he lost his brother due to suicide.
Yeah, April, something like that.
Yeah, and then Skip's going, you're the leader of a football team. You're the leader of America's team. I can't feel any kind of empathy for you. And that's the thing where, and we're not gonna get on no sad shit. I'm not even trying to get there, but it's crazy because for men, more black men though, we're supposed to be built where we shouldn't have any kind of emotions or feelings towards anything. We're not supposed to be vulnerable towards nothing. Yeah. Right. So when Skip is saying that as a white man to a 20-some-year-old black, who cares if he's a starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys? Who cares if he's got all the millions in the bank or whatever it is? The man lost his moms in college. His brother now took his life. You know what I'm saying? So do you really think that he should just be able to put that jersey on? Yeah, shut up and play. Exactly. And that's what it is. That's how they look at it. Shut up and play every single time.
Modern day slavery, bro.
How do you guys feel about How do you guys feel about like topics like your mental health and like your masculinity as a black man in like 2020?
I feel like we should talk about it more. I feel like that, like you said, there's the stigma that as men that we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to take care of everybody. The mental stuff, we can go through it, but don't talk about it. Get through it. But it's tough. Like I've lost friends from suicide and stuff like that where they did that, where they didn't want to cry in front of us or they didn't want to talk to us or whatever because they didn't want to seem weak in a sense or something like that. And we think everything's fine. And then next thing you know, oh, they were going through this? I had no idea. So I think we should talk about it a hell of a lot more than as a society and all that, for real.
I agree that, talking about it would be a great thing to do. Because, like, you got to think about how much stuff is, like, swept underneath the rug and that we just almost pretend normal, like nothing ever happened, because that's how we were trained or brought up to do. Like, some of those things just instilled in us just growing up, like, because you go through so much terror, trauma, hurt, pain, keep the emotions going, So when you get to that stage where it's like I'm almost depressed, no one ever wants to come up and be like, "Oh, bro, I'm just depressed, man. I'm down and out."
They'd be like, "Yo, come on."
Yeah.
So how many times, have you ever hit up somebody and was like, "Hey, bro, man, how you doing? Let's go out and get a drink," for these reasons versus like, "Hey, bro, let's go get drunk," So it's like, let's just hang out. So I don't know. I feel like checking in with your friends is by the wayside. Like, even if like the five of us went out right now, we not even gonna be talking about mental health. The game is on. We're gonna be thinking about a game or
I asked
having
y'all
these
last
random
week,
conversations.
so it's on y'all.
You said what?
I asked y'all last week, so that's on y'all.
Yeah.
I did my job.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like, but on a day-to-day basis, no one ever does that, So like mental check-ins, friend check-ins, things like that. I feel like there has to be a way to have to do that coming up, because like otherwise I feel like no one else is going to do it.
Has any of you guys ever been to therapy?
I have.
No.
No?
One time they made me go for
Stupid
my
comeback.
probation. So they forced me to
So
go.
what happened?
So that wasn't on your recognizance. So
So one of my best friends is a therapist, and
That was Cognizance, that's the name.
So then I started going to therapy. I went to therapy. I probably went to maybe 3-4 sessions tops. But then I stopped going. I can't say that word. I can't say that word. I stopped going. I can't say it. But I stopped going because my therapy became putting a camera to my face. That's what my therapy became. So like even today, what I was talking about, where that's how I have to release things. So therapy for me, I wasn't ashamed of going. I openly told people I went to therapy because me as a black man, I view myself a little bit different than most black men. Stuff like that, it doesn't make me less of a man. It really doesn't. So
that's why I said it.
But that's the problem though. The way that the whole narrative of therapy is, it makes you seem like you're weak and vulnerable. When I went to therapy because I said, okay, I'm paying money, so the person's gonna have to listen to me. And it got to a point where she did listen. It wasn't a situation where it's your friends where they can find ways to gas you up, they can find ways to make you feel good. She legitimately didn't know me from the next person, and she just straight up listened to me, and it was dope. But then the reason I stopped going, because I said the best way for me to deal with this is just to put myself out there. And when I do put myself out there, that's why in the mornings when I rant or whatever you want to call it, and then people respond back, that's my best way to engage with people. That's my best way to be able to release and be able to say, okay, I've just openly put it out there on video that I have emotions, I have feelings.
Right. But like think about how like the world has changed. Like even from like 2007, 2006. When we were going to high school, you talking about your next man, like you at the lunch table just joking around, all the jokes in the world, talking about you, talking about your moms, any joke. But now that's deemed as like bullying. These kids now is like, oh man, I'm being bullied at school. Now I'm depressed. Now I'm, I don't want to say it, but like now it's like suicide watch time. But at the same time, it's just like we were going through the same thing that these kids are going through today. But we almost like just like swept it under the rug, came back to lunch the next day and did it again. Like I got a joke for his ass tomorrow.
Yep.
You know, I know what I'm gonna say to him next time he says that to me. You know, so it's just like the adapt is almost different now. Where it's almost like I feel like they're reaching for like a shoulder to lean on or cry on, versus to be like we got to come back stronger the next day. You know, so I don't want to say that they got weak, but I feel like.
No, you did.
I feel like they softened up just a tad bit.
Parents got.
I've seen people back in the day. People used to get viciously ribbed in high school,
Yeah.
Like
like
that,
vicious.
If it got too bad, you would just scrap.
Yeah. It was bad, but like
And it was normal.
It was normal, and we
normal.
grew up, and it's not normal there. So like now it's like I have mixed feelings about like mental health and therapy and depression and anxiety. Because like on the one hand, it's like you want to be more vulnerable, but then you don't want to lose like all of your mental toughness to where like everything offends you and like everything. So I feel like some people, it's like two different extremes. Some people are going through shit and they're trying to be like too masculine and they want to hide it. Then there's some people who aren't really going through as much that should justify how much quote unquote anxiety that they're feeling. Like for some people there's a camp where it's almost kind of like cool to like have anxiety and like be lazy and not do anything.
Right.
And like when it comes to something like therapy, I see both sides of it too. Like if I were to go to therapy, I would want to talk to my therapist, vent my feelings, but then after that, I would want to be working with my therapist to like create an action plan, like help me improve my life. I don't want to just go to a therapist for 10 years, continuing to tell them all my sob stories and never get better, right? So it's like if you're going to the same therapist for 10 years and you're not getting better, you're just lining their pockets, right?
They say that to you though. They say if you stop going, I did my job. And that's where with my therapist, I straight up, I didn't even tell her I stopped going.
That's
I
good.
just stopped going. Yeah, because
That's good.
But the thing is, there's people that go in there and they look at it as a crutch. They look at it as if this person is going to listen to me and I can sob. And they keep going for 10 plus years. And the thing is, they never get anything out of it. I went 3-4 sessions and told myself, nah, you know what I'm saying? Because granted, they care, but they're still getting paid. They can sit there for an hour and your time is up. When they tell you your time is up, that means that they money done ran out.
Yep.
And that's what it is. So in my head, I'm going, you do care for me, but only when it's within that block.
For 50 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes you need sometimes you need to confide in your friends, but then sometimes you got to be able to tell your friends when they're on bullshit. You need to tell your friends when like part of the reason sometimes like you could be depressed you could be depressed because you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, right? Or you could also be depressed like because your life sucks. Like I've gone through seasonal depression. You know when I was depressed? When I dropped out of college, when I was arrested, when I was selling drugs, when I was sitting at home smoking weed, drinking every night, not doing anything, watching TV all day, playing video games. Wait, I wonder why the fuck I was depressed. Because my life was fucked up and I was not making. Guess what? I didn't go to a shrink, but I did start doing things like I was watching videos, reading books, learning self-improvement. Guess what? When I started, not that I don't drink or anything anymore, but like when I stopped drinking so much, when I stopped selling drugs, when I did my community service and got off probation, when I educated myself, got healthier, made better friends, then I stopped being depressed. You know?
Right.
So
Like
it's a combination of your circumstances and like the way that you're looking at yourself, you know?
This thing called life is a boxing match, bro. It literally, it's 12 rounds, bro.
Some of us fight Mike Tyson, huh?
Son.
It's hard, dude.
But it's so hard where I think things happen to people because it's rinse and repeat, bro. You have to get up the next day and you have to try to emulate that previous day that might have been a good day, but no 2 days are alike. You know what I'm saying? So it's just if you are a person that wants to just coast, you can coast, but then eventually what happens is you're going to break. But then if you want to be a person that wants to figure out different challenges, different ways to better yourself, different things that you feel like you haven't done that you need to do to make this thing called exciting. If you're a person that has never been in a relationship and all of a sudden you tell yourself, you know what, I'm going to devote to a relationship. If you're a person that says that I've never been able to save $5,000, put a goal and say I'm going to save find different things to do to make this thing intriguing, because there is days I go through seasonal depression too. There's days, especially in the wintertime here in Minnesota, I don't want to leave the house. Right. You know what I'm saying? But then I tell myself, I'm just like, well, you know what I'm saying? I can't stay in this house, because even though staying in the house is the answer, because it's like sleeping in. Like I have this thing where there's days I want to sleep in because I feel like I need to sleep in. It feels good to sleep in. Bro, the days I sleep in are the days that I'm just dead. I'm tired. I got no energy. So I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning because that's just what works for me. That's my challenge. Whether it's jogging or biking or just reading a book. The list goes on, bro. And I just feel like so many people just keep doing the same stuff. You can only drink so much before it gets old. You know what I'm saying? You can only do so many drugs before. I seen old boy Goldberg from Mighty Ducks. He's 6 months sober now. They had that mugshot of him back in January, whatever it was. He looked like he was ready to die. Now you see him now, he's 6 months sober because he took a different approach. He started challenging himself. I'm going to be sober. For a guy like him, he had to take that route. Everybody's different though.
Yeah, and that's why this 2020 has been kind of like by the wayside for me, you know, but for a couple other people too, you know, everybody always like blaming COVID. I mean, you could, but then you got to think about like how cowardly that sounds.
You a bitch, man.
Like you can still do things even though the world is against you. Like I feel like the world's been against me. Like my life has changed since like 2017. So 18, I feel like I had the best year of my life. And I was like, oh man. 19, I feel like I had the best year of my life. 20, I've had a great year. You know, all things aside, whether it's the systemic racisms or COVID or, you know, the he, the her, the she, the he, whatever the case may be, like I feel like I've had a great year. You know, so I don't want to be like, oh man, COVID has just depressed me. Yeah, COVID has fucked up a couple of different things for me, but it never put me down to be like, oh man, like you got to think about the things that COVID has done for me. I'm spending less, making more.
See?
You know?
See?
I'm like I'm gaining a new outlook on life.
See?
You know, I'm recognizing the people that's actually around me more. You know, so it's like I'm taking this thing into account and, you know, like I can see things at a different view now versus like 2010 to 2019 where it was like, oh shit, me, what are we gonna do? Versus now it's like we, you know, so I'm like more like incorporating things around me versus just me being incorporated, you know? So yeah, shout out to this 19 Crimes, by the way. This is fire.
You
sponsor?
Hey, you spitting today, bro.
Where we at? It's halftime of that game.
You spitting my ass, boy.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
No.
All right, on that we are.
Shit. Spitting my ass.
Whoa, Odell.
Oh hell no!
Oh hell no!
Now I gotta go to treatment, man. Y'all depressing me up, man.
Chiefs up 17-7 and a half,
so-
so are we good? I like that.
Yeah, what are our closing thoughts?
I really like that, what Tim was saying. Turn it up a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, Tim, you're right, dude. Like, that's the one thing I try to talk about. It doesn't matter, like, if you're black, white, rich, poor. Like, life is hard, dude. It's hard. Any circumstance you're in. Even a billionaire has problems, and then people poor in the street have problems. It's like, you wake up every day, and every day everyone has that conversation in their mind where, like, you're trying to have that fight, like you have that image of that person you want to be, the things you're trying to do, and then you gotta bump up against that shit every single day, and that's what we're all doing. So like that's probably why we should have some kindness for each other, right? So like everything's so divisive, so toxic right now. Everyone is in pain, bro. Like everyone is in pain. That's why there's so much lashing out. Not that society is gonna do it, but I'm gonna try to be like more lighthearted, empathetic, try to help people, not be as judgmental type shit. So that's what I got.
Me, hey, you listen to this, you're going through anything, depression, you just want to talk, you hit me up on anything. You can hit these guys up. I'm hilarious, so if you want to laugh, you can hit me up. Tim, Ayo, if you want inspiration, learn about some beer or something from James.
Hold on, dude. Don't never try to throw me under the bus like that's all I have to offer. It's
It's
beer knowledge.
past the hop.
Hey, if you want anything from
It's,
beers, just let him know. Like,
See, look,
get out of
past the
here.
hop beer profile. No, all right.
How
Yeah,
you
so
got
yeah,
it?
hit me up.
If you want beer, go to Ain't no fucking advertisement.
Hobbs is never bringing wine to the podcast again.
I like him on the wine, man.
Reading it now.
We gotta delete a whole
Stole
hour.
my clothes.
Hobbs, you got anything?
Nah, man.
I hate when people say nah and then they talk.
Nah, I don't got nothing.
Look,
Well, first
you
of
know
all,
what? Hey, so on note, you know, like a random thought, here we go. But I have the funniest grandma, bro. Because it'd be like, literally, like, we'd be talking for 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, grandma, you know, I love you. I'll talk to you later. She'd be like, all right, well, cool. I love you too. I'll talk
And
to you
they keep
later.
going, yeah.
And then she'd be like, but did you hear about this? I'm like,
Not even a bunch of
my
years.
mom
It's like,
does that.
yeah,
We've been
so
talking for 500 hours already. Like, I'm running out of my entertainment.
bro, I'm
minutes
running out
already.
of song. How long you
But
going right now?
yeah, I feel like I don't have anything to really say. I think I said it. doing the show. So if y'all want to pay attention, I see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel, you know?
All right. You say something already?
I was just gonna say, my advice to everybody: take a lot of pictures, take a lot of videos. Look at those pictures and videos from the previous year. See where you're at the current day. If you feel like you've advanced from that previous year, that day, you're doing something right. Because this day last year, I wasn't doing a podcast with y'all. This was a challenge and something that we talked about we wanted to do, and now we're doing it. So hopefully this time next year, we're doing the same podcast, but we're doing it at possibly, who knows, at a different venue.
Madison Square Garden.
Spotify, make
Hey,
a
finding
deal.
light in the dark. We made this from a fucking real shitty situation and birthed this podcast.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I think with people get so fixated on, they feel like they don't want to be, they don't want to look like they're egotistical when they're taking pictures. I do all that stuff because I always want to just revert back to say, 4 years ago this day I was renting out. I was living in a basement in somebody's crib. Now I got my own crib, and then now this time next year I'm gonna have my own crib with my lady. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I'm trying to take those little baby steps on the day to day. No, but like that's real talk though. I mean that's just.
I was crying.
I just feel that's the best way to keep yourself going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just that's it, man.
Coolest kid out, man. Word to Chuck English. Yeah, so just kind of piggyback on that. Just I thought about this today too. Just don't be afraid to voice what you want. You know, so like if you want to start a podcast, say that shit, but then work towards doing it. You know, if you want to play Division I basketball, say that shit and then go for it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be afraid of that. Every day is a new journey. You know, yesterday is gone, tomorrow's not promised. So let's make sure we live through.
Not I,
I believe I
D1
can become a D1
Nah, you
basketball
they don't like reverse
prospect.
But as always, it's 5 mics. Tim is at Tim Nella. James at Pastor Hobbs. You got Io at Io the author. Monte's at Black Adonis. I'm at D Norris II. Whole podcast is 5 like the number. MICS pod. That's 5 mics pod. It's episode 12. Thank you guys again for listening. We're about to go watch the rest of this game. Episode 12, 5 mics pod. We out of here.